Well, hello there, Tenno, and welcome to another episode of Warframe. And today we are looking at a slept-on Warframe that I legitimately can't believe I haven't used properly before. But before we get into it, I really need your help. I'm trying to reach 10k subs before 2026 rolls around. I might be insane, I don't know yet. So if you could help me out with that, and either sub, like, comment, share my video, whatever, I would be immensely grateful. Now, on to this video. This is Baruuk, the reluctant warrior following the path that winds between peace and hate. He maintains restraint before unleashing the storm within. Beware the fury of the truly patient. Baruuk boasts survivability and crowd control. Now, our beloved monk here, this tenacious dude, was released back in 2018, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've used him precisely about 0.3 times since then, and honestly, shame on me. Do you know how good this Warframe is? No, I didn't either. Allow me to enlighten you. Now, if you're wondering where you can get a Baruuk, the normal one, the original one, you can get him from Little Duck in the back rooms of Fortuna. Yeah, we're going back there. That's like how old he is. You can also get him from the circuit, obviously on neevr when he's available, but you could do this in the meantime if you wanted to. And you can also buy normal Baruuk from the market for 300 and some at plat. I don't recommend doing that. And if you want the primed variant, he is vaulted, but as you can see, I have a ton of the relics, so I'm assuming a lot of other people do also. So he isn't hard to get hold of, and if you buy him for plat, currently he's around 50 to 60 plat. So once you've got your Baruuk, let's have a look at his abilities. He revolves around mitigating, suppressing and preventing damage until reaching a certain threshold, after which he switches to all-out offense. Baruuk is a pacifistic warframe with incredible damage reduction, and he can distort enemies peacefully, yet his affinity for violence grows as his restraint wanes. So his passive builds the restraint from abilities that increase damage reduction. Elude, his first ability, enters a stance that has enemy attacks harmlessly pass through him as long as he's not attacking them. His second ability, Lull, releases a calming wave that puts enemies to sleep. Oh, sounds amazing. His third ability, Desolate Hands, summons daggers that provide damage reduction, and they seek out enemies to disarm their weapons. And when his restraint bar is eroded, Baruuk can summon the Serene Storm to unveil the Desert Wind Fists, while also further increasing damage reduction. So basically what we're saying here is that Baruuk is absolutely full of wind to the brim, but seeing as he is a gentleman, he has some restraint, but all that fighting and exercise reduces his ability to keep that treacherous desert wind in. You know what it's like and how it goes. Once unleashed, his enemies have so many regrets, and I mean that genuinely, and you will see it upon thy screen. And before I tell you how I use Baruuk and give you some ideas, why am I focusing in on Baruuk? Well, he's been in the back of my mind for a while because I wanted to revisit a lot of the older frames, especially when they did a lot of the pseudo reworks. Now, he hasn't had a pseudo rework because he's always had an exalted weapon, being his Serene Storm. Now, I didn't love melee, and then I discovered Kalervo, and obviously I fell in love with melee, and then I started doing the pseudo rework videos, and I actually discovered that melee is actually really freaking good. And sometimes when I'm on Steel Path, I just kind of want to solo it, and I've been keeping an eye out for Warframes that can A, help me survive, and B, AoE the hecky likey out of all the enemies. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Baruuk is one of them. He's underrated. I don't see him much in the game, and I'm kind of surprised because you can get the red crits and you don't even have to Helminth Kalervo's ability onto him for that. So I'm going to show you how I mod him, understand how the restraint meter works, and really explain where he's going to excel in the game generally. Okay? So how do we mod Baruuk? Now we have to keep in mind that his fourth ability is where we want to be at. The others are just helpy helpertons, okay? So the other three abilities that we're popping are essentially when they hit the enemies, going to help diminish our restraint bar. This is the Restraint bar. It's full when you load in, and the only way you can access his 4th ability is by diminishing this silver bar, and the only way that's going to happen is when enemies are impacted by your other 3 abilities. So I Helminth the second one, lull, off, but that's really the one that you can spam the most with the short duration. Elude runs constantly, and it also diminishes your energy. The 4th one does not use energy, by the way. That's a sneaky little trick. Now, it all works in perfect balance with each other, so why would you Helminth anything on or off? I was just trying it, and I actually tried Kalervo's ability, and it ruined the whole vibe. So that was my Baruuk build. Low duration, we want higher range, and as much strength as you can, but more strength on the 4th, so precision intensify is brilliant. And the Desert Wind, now I've put a red crit build on here, and we will get red crits with all the gladiator mods in there with the high combo chance. And also, by the way, I've used the Naramon School of Focus because that slows our combo decay down, so we're going to get maximum combo, and we're just going to maintain it because we're going to be mullering a lot of things, guys. And I just want to say that you don't need red crit with Baruuk. He will kill everything just by punching them with his Desert Fist. I'm just saying, I'm going to demonstrate both. This is the pillage build. So if you're paying attention, we do have access to his 4th ability right now, even though the Restraint bar is only quarter emptied, because we're running the other abilities and they're impacting the enemies, and it's just, you know, we're eroding his Restraint to let out his wind. I don't really like popping his 4th ability until that Restraint bar's empty, because it's essentially a balancing act. Once you've got your 4th ability running, the Restraint bar wants to fill back up again, and the way you're going to keep it emptied or balanced out is to run his other abilities around it. Now, I don't know if the Restraint ability itself helps diminish its own restraint. I don't think it does, but you'll see in the final build when I just don't Helminth anything off him, and you'll see that we're getting red crits, that it works really, really well. But I always seem to just want to wait until that Restraint bar is fully empty before I pop the 4th one. You don't have to, but I just find like I can just go around and kill a few things, get my energy up, you know, just enjoy myself for a moment. And now it's empty, I'm going to pop it, and here we go. Now, it takes a moment obviously to build up our combos, but I'm not heavy attacking, because once I built up my combo, if I did a heavy attack, it would diminish, it would wipe out my combo, and then I'd still kill things, but I have to build the combo up again. Now, when I put Kalervo's ability on, when I popped his ability, it would wipe off the combo every single time, and it was that really ruined my day. I didn't enjoy it. Now, as you can see, we're getting up to 6 times combo, and we're getting those delicious red crits. Now, I don't think you need red crits to kill everything. You just simply don't in this game. However, I do understand the delight that happens when they pop up on the screen, especially when you start to get into the millions. And what I really like about Baruuk's Desert Wind is that it seems to be like an AoE ranged melee attack, and I really like the sound effects. And we were able to take down the acolytes with this as well. It didn't one punch them. I'm sure I can work on a build that can one punch them, but just for like starting out at like around 200 level enemies, this is doing okay, no? So this was the pillage, and it didn't take too long. It didn't take hours and hours to get that Restraint bar down, but I'm going to show you now the build. It's going to be the same Desert Wind build, so the red crit build, but we're going to do it with just his original ability. So you won't see pillage on his second. We're just going to use lull, and we're going to use elude and see if that Restraint bar can get down a bit quicker. Now, we do have to discuss the fact that you need a lot of enemies. So the more enemies that you hit, the bigger range that you have, the quicker the Restraint bar will go down. So if you're on normal star chart in a squad of 4 people and they're all killing stuff, I think that's where Baruuk's going to struggle a little bit, and you probably won't really ever get him to his massive combos with red crits. And why would you need to on normal star chart? So my instinct immediately is he's going into my list of Warframes that I can solo Steel Path very comfortably on. Look, his health barely gets touched and is very low. His shields are high at the moment because we have pillage on, but I'm going to show you in a moment a non-pillage build. So his shield's around 400, and as long as you keep his 3rd ability popped and you just keep killing stuff, nothing really touches him. The only time I've gone down is when I wasn't really concentrating and I was stood there, I don't know, distracted by my phone or something. Yeah, he's pretty tanky. He's pretty useful. Obviously I haven't taken to Steel Path level cap or anything like that, but let's take a quick look at that build without any Helminth abilities on, shall we? And, you know, enjoy the footage. So let's just take another peek. As you can see, his second ability is now his original one, which is LOL. And I do need to former him up again, but for the purposes of the video, I wanted to show you that you don't need fully formered top-notch builds. As you can see, I haven't got a full fleeting expertise in, but my instinct is to immediately lower his duration even lower, because we don't want LOL to be a duration ability. We just want to spam it. So we need enough energy and enough range for LOL and Elude to hit the enemies quicker. That means his restraint bar is going to diminish even quicker, which means we can just go to town like no one's business on the enemies ASAP. And as we watch the beginning of this mission, you'll see the restraint bar going down much quicker. I've only clipped a few moments out because, you know, who wants to watch me loading up some energy? But we've been in here for like 30 seconds to a minute and the restraint bar's already diminishing. The more enemies that are around us, if we can just resist killing them, the more they're impacted by our abilities, the quicker the restraint bar is going down. Look, it's already diminished almost fully. So I'm allowing the enemies to come near us, and that's where Elude comes in useful, because it's reducing damage. So if you can just stand there and let them crowd around you. It's a shame you're anti-social, but let them crowd around you and then unleash your desert wind upon them. Right in their face, you know, like a force to be reckoned with. And as you can see, we're already getting our combo up. And once the combo gets to about, I don't know, 5 or 6, we're starting to get red crits already. Oh my god, it's so freaking good. I was genuinely surprised. Shocked to my core, actually. And when I put the Calervo ability on, it kind of ruined the whole vibe. It would wipe out my combo, like I may have mentioned already. And I just didn't enjoy it. And I do need to mention the companions. I really liked to take the Nautilus Prime here, and it's just my normal build. It's in all of my other videos. If you've ever checked out any of those, go and check the Steel Path companion video out. It'll be in there. And all you need really is the cordon mod. That's what we want from Nautilus. We don't really need it to keep us alive or anything like that. And the cordon mod is basically bunching up the enemies so we can just smack them in their faces a little easier. And just to wrap up, I wanted to show you this Desert Wind Prime build that doesn't include having red crits going on, and I've got melee influence in now instead of melee duplicate. And I rolled this out with the Panzerwulperfiller build. If you want more about Steel Path Companions, go and check out the Steel Path Companion build video. And just FYI, I'm not showing it, but Baruuk is, I've just formed him up. I was having a go, and it was so I could get more fleeting expertise in. If you recall, I couldn't get the full mod in because we just didn't have the room, so I formed him up, and now I've got like, I don't know, 16% duration. Very negative amount, but it just means if we've got the energy, we can spam the second ability around the enemies, and our restraint meter is just going to disappear. And sometimes, you know, it does get wiped off by the acolyte, so you do want it to diminish again so you can get your full desert wind up. And as you can see, we're already popped into our full ability, and we're going to start building our combo. Now, it takes a little while longer because I haven't got all the super juicy combo mods in, but it's fine. And you won't see one single red crit in this video, but he just like bang and the enemies are gone. Boof. Look, oh my goodness, it's so like the melee influence with the electric proc. And now I'm like, can I do a whole electric build for Baruuk's Desert Wind Prime? Maybe some viral in there. I do have a viral electric build I was working on, but I hadn't really got anywhere with it. You know, the juices start flowing. You know, the mod juices start flowing, and you just want to keep on creating amazing builds. So as we watch this amazing footage of Baruuk just being a badass space ninja, I really hope this has changed your mind. If you're a little bit on the fence about Baruuk, if you just didn't know how to use him and it kind of put you off, just look at this. This is Steel Path, and he's untouchable. He's just amazing. And I wanted to give a shout out to one of my Discordians specifically, which is Hamadak, also known as Daki, and he just randomly, as I started recording footage for Baruuk, and obviously I kept this on the download for my Discordians. Sometimes I share my ideas, sometimes I don't. He started talking obsessively about Baruuk, like really trying to crowbar Baruuk into the conversation in the Discord, and I was like, dude, shush. Now, I did say that he could be in this video, but I just, time-wise, he's on the other side of the planet, so we haven't been able to work it out. But Hamadak, I will get you into a video, or you can just send us your Baruuk like fashion frame or something and we'll put it in a video. Honorable mention, he also had the realization that I had at the exact same time, weirdly, coincidentally, that Baruuk is freaking amazing on Steel Path, and it's like a revelation. And weirdly, my Discordians also then started talking about melee Warframe, pseudo exalted reworks. You know, Ash, Gara, Korra, Atlas, and obviously Baruuk hasn't had a pseudo exalted rework. He just has an exalted melee weapon. And that brings me on to Ash. They have reworked him and I've never used him, very much like Baruuk, so he will be on the list among many, many other ideas, because we do have Halloween coming up, so you know what that means. And as I record this, everyone is obsessed with Plague Star. So this is September 2025 as I record this, and everyone's burnt out on the Plague Star, trying to get as many free formers as they can, pre-built free formers. I mean, who doesn't want that? But my darlings, you're going to need a palette cleanser, and let Coffee Barbarian just swish around your palette. That sounds weird. If you don't like coffee, it's fine. I'm not too bitter. Just allow me to cleanse your palette and we will have a lovely little sousson. We're going to have another gathering, okay? So I just want you to change your mind about Baruuk. I want you to watch this video and be like, oh my goodness, Coffee, thank you. You're so useful. I'm going to go watch all of your other videos because you're amazing, okay? Thank you. If all of my viewers did that, if all of my subscribers did that, I would be a happy woman indeed. Anyway, in the meantime, thanks again to my beautiful Discordians. They're so funny, they're so chitty chatty, and they love helping each other out. We have really, really experienced players and like less experienced players, and they talk about other games, not just Warframe. So, you know, please come and join the community. It's really lovely over there. And sometimes they'll just give you like a warm virtual verbal hug if you want one, you know? You just want someone to hang out with. And yeah, you're more than welcome to come and join. And I just want to give a shout out to my beautiful YouTube members who are super generous with their the fact that they are paying money to watch my videos early boggles my mind. I'm trying to get the videos out as early as possible to like so they get their value for money, but who knows. Anyway, I'm gonna stop blabbering on because you don't care. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Go and play as Baruuk. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you're a Baruuk main and I've mullered the mods, don't be angry at me. I'm still learning, okay? But just like give us some advice. But as you can see, even a high level Steel Path, like he just chef's kiss. So, you know, the gentleman with the bad wind, he's awesome. We love him. Okay, so go and give him a go. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But in the meantime, you take care now and goodbye.